black. I'm the black sheep, the real black sheep. I'm the black sheep, the real black sheep.
CNBC had a segment called Money Disorders, and let's check out what they got to say about that.
The average American has $38,000 in debt, a quarter of which comes directly from credit card charges. In December 2018, consumer debt hit an overall record high of $4 trillion. Experts say a significant amount of this debt can be explained by what they call money disorders. Dr. Brad Klontz, author of Mind Over Money and co-founder of the Financial Psychology Institute, says that money disorders is an umbrella term for recurring and self-defeating issues that people have with money.
The average American, you could argue, has a money disorder. So many of us are struggling in our relationship with money. And then in the extreme, you have individuals who are engaging in very self-destructive financial behaviors. They know better, but they can't seem to do better. And it's having a significant impact on their mental health, their financial health, their relationships, their ability to, perform their work functions.
According to Dr. Klontz, money disorders are often the result of underlying psychological issues like anxiety, depression, or trauma.
Let's go back and reiterate some of the things they made a point, right? So they said the average American has $38,000 in debt, a quarter of which comes directly from credit card charges. They blame money disorders. Also, in December of 2018, the consumer debt hit an all-time high of $4 trillion. They also stated that the term money disordered is an umbrella term for reoccurring and self-defeating issues that people have with money. Also, that money disorders are often the result of underlying psychological issues like anxiety, depression, and trauma. And I'm here to say that the problem isn't a money disorder or a mental disorder in regards to money brought on by possible other mental disorders you have. It was basically what they said in a long way. I recommend checking out the video to see what they're saying. But the problem is, then you ain't got no money. Money is just a tool that we use that's necessary to survive in this capitalist economy, right? Let's say if you were trapped on an island and it rains almost every day on this island, you want to build a house and you have everything you need to build a house and withstand the elements. You have your hammer, you have the wood, you have things to cut with. You have everything except nails. Without those nails, you can still build a house. It'll just take a lot longer. It'll be a lot harder to achieve. You'll be out in the rain making little progress, probably getting more and more depressed as your clothes get more soaked. And you may try and fail many times, right, to build this house without nails. You may actually never even finish the house. Or when you do finish the house, it may not be what you envision. It might be like, it might not be sturdy enough or to withstand the elements. And this may lead to even more negative thoughts, right? The same concept can apply to this dumbass argument that they got over here. Money is just a tool that's necessary to obtain the things that literally keep us alive, like food, shelter, and clothing. The more of it we have, just like the nails, the more of them you have, the easier it would be to build up a foundation and keep it together when the elements, like hurricanes, as opposed to nails, or when unexpected bills, as it goes with money, and emergencies come up, putting at risk of losing everything you work to build, right? Depression and anxiety are just natural responses to negative stimuli. I'm gonna get off on a little tangent real quick, all right? As somebody who has mental health issues, I'm a firm believer in, it's not all just about medicating those issues. I think, like I said, depression it's a natural response to negative stimuli. When you get hurt from, like when you fall and you get hurt, you feel physical pain. That's because that's pain from a physical stimuli. It's just, so what happens when, your feelings get hurt, or when you feel like you're less than, or you can't get ahead in life, you feel depression, you feel anxiety. This may not be the case for everybody as far as their depression and things like that. But remember, we're talking about
the average American,
right? So from 1946 to 1976, 30 years, the average income growth for the bottom 90% of households was 92%, compared to 25% for the top 1% of households. Everybody watching this video is in the 90%. I guarantee you there's no billionaire watching this video, right? So, that's all of us, right? We had 90% growth. Juxtapose that with in 1976, from 1976 to 2006, that 30-year span, the bottom 90% of households only saw a 10% growth, while the top 1%, they saw a 239% increase in their income. Bro, so we went from 90% growth to literally 10% growth, and the 1% went from 25% growth to 239% growth in their income. What could have happened to stop this growth dead in its tracks for the middle class and leave most Americans in crippling debt? What could it have been, man? Credit cards have been around since the 1920s. Back then, they were more akin to traditional bookkeeping. The basic concept was still there. Cards as we know them, as we use them now, they first took form in the 1950s with the Diners Club card. You still actually find those floating around. Anybody in the service industry, if it sparks memory, you'd be like, oh, damn. I think I've had one person in mind since I've been in the industry use one before. So, but whatever. Tangent again, right? They were developed by a guy named Frank McNamara. Got them on the first try. It was a cardboard card that could fit inside your wallet. And you could use a lot like today's credit cards. Go to multiple stores, accumulate a balance that we paid off at the end of the month, right? The modern day credit card, as we know it, didn't take shape until the 1980s with the rise of Visa, MasterCard, and on the heels of massive banking deregulation. So in 1980, Congress passed the Depository Institutions Deregulation and Monetary Control Act. This gutted Glass-Steagall and the Banking Holding Act of 1965. And that combined with favorable interest rates came the boom of consumer credit cards and the concept of offering rewards to credit card holders, rewards such as Sky Miles and free hotels and things like that. Bro, we were swiping left and right. We were swiping on everything, right? So now from 2007 to 2016, the bottom 90%, us, we only saw a 4% increase in our average income. In fact, the debt to disposable income ratio of average American household more than doubled from 60% in 1980 to 133% in 2007. So, all right, let's back up and let's look at this. So we got credit cards, big banks, massive deregulation, and Ronald Reagan. So, and that's what's to blame all our problems, right? It seems like it. So, all right, I guess that's it then. I guess we're done here. All right, make sure y'all like, subscribe, all that. Wait, we're missing something. Like, even with all these things, how still do Americans double their debt? Like, how do we go from literally 60% of the debt to disposable income ratio go from 60% in 1980 to literally 133% in 2007? What things could have caused that? How did credit cards get so ubiquitous in American culture in the first place? Like, as I said before, credit cards had already existed for a long time, and it seems like unlikely that frequent flyer miles would cause Americans to double their debts, right? Remember, the average American today has $38,000 in debt, a quarter of which comes directly from credit card charges, right? So it seems like we're still missing one ingredient in this shit stew that we're cooking up right now. And what else could have happened in the 80s that could have exacerbated this? Maybe some kind of massive media movement that would have constant advertisements 24/7. So in 1977, the federal district court in Washington, D.C. overturned the FCC restrictions on cable TV, which led to an explosion of cable TV networks. In about a decade, the number of cable networks grew from 28 to 79 networks. One of these new networks was none other than CNN, the very first 24-hour cable news station, which first aired June 1st, 1980. This, in my opinion, was the end of everything. And this is when corporate profits and ratings became the driving motivator in news coverage. And when this is what we're subjected to this day, you know, shareholders became more important than objective reporting and holding the powerful accountable. Now peppered in between news segments were commercials like this.
Sign your way around the world with Diners Club International.
I think this bunch deserves a treat this weekend.
Yeah! We'll need extra cash.
No problem.
The Discover Card.
Get cash at thousands of automatic teller machines. With Discover Card checks. At largest Sears stores, coast to coast. Get the most. For cash 3 ways, this is the one. Smart move. The Discover Card.
Great day.
Yeah, what are we doing tomorrow?
The Discover Card.
I'm not saying I doubt that the existence of money disorders. I'm sure that there are people with extremely toxic relationships with money. Hell, I think I might be one of them, seriously, you know? People also have a very unhealthy relationship with money in general, you know? That's just due to the nature of this system we're under, in my opinion. That's for a different video, right? What I am saying is that the argument that Americans have accumulated $4 trillion in debt is due to the fact that most of us have a money disorder is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Nah. The reason why statistically you're probably going to die pouring in pain, and sorry to tell you, is due in part to the fact that Access Hollywood and tabloid style reporting like this, masquerading as real news, is the norm now. And the fact that real honest reporting, holding those who have the tools to cheat the system, does not yield a high enough profit margin for the powers that be. So in conclusion, mainstream media is trash. Ronald Reagan was the devil, and fuck the 80s. Oh man, if you enjoyed that, man, definitely hit like, subscribe. I'm trying to be consistent on these videos, man, and don't drink the Kool-Aid what these mainstream media is telling you, man. This shit is ridiculous, y'all. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm out.
These days don't be nothing but hell around me. I live it every day. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me. Like they don't know my pain. Seems like everybody be lost around me, and they can't find a way. I was blind for a while, but now I can see. It ain't so